let's get started.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you all for joining us. I will just share our short presentation, and then we will start. And I think, Alex, we need to turn our cameras off. I think that's some sort of a bit of advice, so maybe we should do that. Okay.
Right.
Okay,
So,
can everyone see a massive yellow screen? I can't see anyone's thumbs up, so I'm hoping this is working. Can you see it, Alex?
yes, I think they're saying yes in the chat.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for coming to this presentation. We'll introduce ourselves in a minute. You may well have already seen sort of 3 LocalGov Drupal presentations today. We've been overwhelmed by the support we've had, and we'd like to thank the organisers for letting us show all the work that we've been doing. It's been absolutely fabulous. So in the next 20 minutes, we'll share who we are. We'll tell you about the research that we sort of promised, why councils chose us and why they didn't, and so on. We'll give you a few takeaways, but also you can get the material afterwards at our website, localgovdrupal.org/DrupalCon. We'll upload everything there as it becomes available. Alex, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. So my name is Alexandra Clark, known simply as Alex, and I'm the founder of Telltale Research, which is a values-led collective of senior research and strategy consultants.
Fantastic. And I'm Will Callaghan. I'm the product lead for LocalGov Drupal, and that's taken on the beach in Eastbourne, where I live in the UK. And as I said, it's great to be here, and it's our first time at DrupalCon, Alex, isn't it? Both of us.
Yeah, it's really exciting to be part of it and sharing the insights.
It is slightly nerve-wracking, but we will do our best to entertain you and enthrall you.
Yes.
We as I said, we've had 4 sessions here already. Obviously, unless you've got a time machine, you can't go to them now, but there is replay. Those are the names of the sessions. Please do have a look. Great panel sessions talking about our governance, talking about sub-theming, and obviously this session now that you're in. If you want to go and have a look at those, please do. And also, there is too much to say about LocalGov Drupal. I talk too much about it. I can't help myself. But Finn Lewis, who's on the call, did a really good presentation at DrupalCon last year, which you can go and watch. Maybe Finn will put the YouTube URL for that. So if you don't really know what we're talking about, we've only got 20 minutes. We can't go into a lot of detail, but do go and watch the start of that or all of it, and that will tell you what we're doing. Over to you, Alex.
Yeah, great. So between May and September this year, we conducted research with current LocalGov Drupal users and prospects. In total, we conducted 20 qualitative interviews with project managers, developers, and content designers, as well as a survey with 35 various councils around the country. And the findings of the research has been extensively reported in 2 qualitative and 1 quantitative report. So what we're presenting to you here is simply a summary of these findings. So first of all, to mention, there is a lot of interest in the project. Currently, there are 15 councils using LocalGov Drupal. And from our interviews and our survey with prospects, the majority actually expressed an interest. So what we can see here is 34% says yes, they would consider LocalGov Drupal, and 14% said yes if it was offered as a hosted software, as a SaaS model, and we had 17% who said yes, we are already using LocalGov Drupal, and 29% who said maybe, but there would be some barriers to overcome, and only 6% said no. So basically, when asked what is it councils are actually after when they're out looking for a new web publishing platform, they say they want something flexible, collaborative, inexpensive, and easy to use. First, we asked them why they wanted to change their current website. So popular responses included 50% said ease of use for our end users and citizens, which reflect a growing interest and awareness of the importance of user research. 48% said improved design, similarly 48% look and feel, and 48% said accessibility compliance, and 33% collaboration among councils, which we found particularly interesting. And then on the other hand, when asked what barriers are there to choosing a new web publishing platform, they said 31% costs, 26% complicated to maintain and develop, and 17% lack of flexibility and supplier lock-in. So why councils chose us? So first of all, there was some really interesting findings that actually the ethos is really important. It simply makes sense in the public sector. So councils essentially have very similar needs when it comes to what their websites need to deliver. So why reinvent the wheel? The opportunity to do something for the greater good was also something that resonated with many councils. And the current users we interviewed really valued the collaborative aspect, from senior managers who expressed an appreciation of the social aspect of being part of a community of other senior professionals, to younger users who appreciated the professional development aspects that the community provides. And when asked in our survey, nearly all prospects, bar one who said maybe, expressed an interest in collaborating with other councils. And financial and time savings are, of course, a crucial area of importance for councils in particular. So we have a few quotes on that.
I'm not going to read all this out, but the one that I really love is the last one. Somebody said it saves time and money, and morally it's the right thing to do, which is something we've seen across the board, Alex, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It was really quite staggering to see how much money councils said that they had saved, both in terms of developer time and overall, sort of when thinking back since they started with LocalGov Drupal, they had saved thousands of pounds.
Should we do the next one?
Yep. So let's have a look at some of the barriers. So the primary reason that was mentioned for not using LocalGov Drupal was a lack of resources, and in particular among smaller councils. And these may also fear having less influence compared to larger councils. And another factor was the internal culture at the council. Some senior managers simply didn't recognize the importance of digital innovation, so were less open to changes. And with some councils having had previous experiences of similar projects having run out of steam, they were naturally hesitant, but without rejecting future participation depending on funding and momentum. And we have some quotes on that as well.
Oh, some quotes, yes. So the person who's head of IT in a council said, you know, we might run out of steam, or the project might lose its way, and we realise we backed the wrong horse, which is, you know, it's something we've heard a couple of times, and it's a risk for councils picking a new platform, isn't it? It's something they need to sort of be very careful about. And then very occasionally we get councils just going, oh well, it's just not for us. So that second quote, a really enthusiastic content designer took it to our boss, and he said that's not for us, and that was it. That was the end of the conversation. So we do get this kind of thing sometimes, which is a shame.
Yes, it's quite interesting to see how that internal culture really matters when it comes to even being out in the market and looking at what's actually available, what's interesting, what's moving, and often it may be that it's the developers who are pushing for change and they're not really getting anywhere further up in the hierarchy, or maybe it's the other way around. But that internal culture is certainly a really important factor. For instance, we may find that there are a lot of people who are attending the DrupalCon conference, and and picking up on interesting themes that they then take back home and want to explore.
Yeah. In fact, we had some expressions of interest after DrupalCon 2022. So if you're listening to this, then do please get in touch and we'll have a chat. We're already making some improvements, aren't we, based on
Yes.
what we received?
Yes. So the research itself was sort of conducted iteratively. So we fed back some of the findings as we went along. As the process was quite a long one. It was an extensive piece of research, and we wanted to make sure that we were able to implement some of these findings as soon as possible. But some of the feedback that we received was that you definitely need to make it as easy as possible to join. So more support is definitely needed in the early stages. That be it a central point of contact, a body system, new joiner onboarding sessions, just to make sure that everyone has the information they need, they feel comfortable joining the group, and they have all their answers, all their questions answered. And also with different councils having distinct needs depending on the size, the development team they have in-house, what program they're currently using. So it's really important as well to be able to have that kind of personalized guidance and need right from the early stages as well. And then we also found that actually councils, they do need to think about this a little bit. It's not like they just decide from one day to the next, yes, we want to go to LocalGov Drupal, but some of course do, but others are a little bit more hesitant. They want to try it out a little bit first. Maybe they want a demo site to see what it's really like. Maybe they want to just try it out with a microsite before fully implementing it. So that's something to consider, how we can facilitate getting familiar with the software first. The second thing was be clearer in our communication. So providing clearer and more accessible information, be it case studies and testimonials, documents on what the project is about, FAQs and troubleshooting. And secondly, with prospects being unsure of the benefits, there's definitely opportunity to shout out a bit more about the advantages, in particular cost savings and time savings, which are so crucial for councils. And then for some of them being a little bit unsure of whether it's actually possible to make cost savings. And it's a really important one to be clear about. And then, of course, with many councils still being unaware of LocalGov Drupal, there's definitely a need for more promotion of the project.
And I think that the quote there, you have to be prepared to keep going back to the communication and revisiting it. So we've previously done a lot of work on this, but it obviously wasn't enough. We've done more in beta, and now we're going to see how that lands, because I think we're expected to keep having to go back to this and really refine what we're saying and bring out the information that people really need.
Yes.
This is going to be an ongoing thing, isn't it? And we're always getting new information from our councils as well about how they're using it. So it's something we're going to stay on top of. We'll have more case studies, more up-to-date case studies about how this is being used. So yeah.
And actually, we received some fantastic testimonials that many of the people that we interviewed were happy to share, so that other councils could hear directly from them what it was like. And that seemed to be quite a nice, convincing way of sharing what it's really like from the inside and allay some of those concerns.
Yeah, for sure.
Promote inclusive, quicker decision making. So with a growing amount of councils joining in, there's definitely a need to maintain an inclusive decision-making process, which can be quite a tricky thing. An easy way to keep up to date with news and what decisions are made when unable to take part in meetings is also really important. And to that, we have already started a newsletter, for instance. And with many decisions being taken over virtual meetings by Meet, some of the more time poll participants wanted a more flexible format for decision making. So of course, that's another thing to kind of develop as the project grows and more councils join in. How do you then make sure that everyone is heard and decisions are being made without everyone necessarily being present at every meeting?
Yeah, I mean, we all have our day jobs in councils, so this is work that we're doing, you know, instead of or on top of the stuff that we're already doing. So, you know, if there are 5 2-hour meetings in the week, it's not possible to turn up to all of these things, and we're thinking very carefully about when we need to get together and agree something. But it's like you say, Alex, is, you know, you can do this stuff asynchronously as well. You can make decisions on Slack, or you can do things offline, and that's what I think we're really going to focus on next. It's staying abreast of the work that's going on, so the newsletter, but also allowing, you know, encouraging people to get involved when they haven't necessarily got as much time to commit. So it's all good. It's a bit of a balancing act, but it's good. So we're almost done, but I guess there's just a couple of takeaways, and I'll run through these. I mean, I think councils felt previously maybe that Drupal and open source are a bit of a barrier, and we're seeing that it really isn't. If it ever was, it really isn't now. That councils are basically saying that collaboration and reuse of code is the ethical thing to do. You know, they want to do it. That you know, as we know, councils still take their time to make decisions around publishing platforms and platforms in general, and we've been prepared to answer as many questions as they have. You know, that's the name of the game here. We're delighted that LocalGov Drupal does the job. It's got a good product market fit, and that's because it was made by councils. You know, it's made by the people that do the job every day, and you know, this is key to our success in the future, is make sure council folks are at the middle of this, and that, you know, the content designers who use it every day are, you know, are fully involved in what we do. And likewise, we're very clear and open about the way we make decisions, and we publicize them, and we allow people to get involved. There's an opportunity. I don't know if there's anyone here from Drupal agencies. I'm sure many people are, but what we found very clearly is that councils don't yet have all the skills they need to do this fully. You know, there's still a sort of strong central team outside of councils that do some of this work. So, you know, there's an opportunity to buddy up with your local council and find out what they're doing and whether they might want to be involved with this. So, get in touch if you want to know more about that. Yeah, get in touch. All these slides will be at our website, and you can reach us on Twitter or via email. If you're in central government or local government, there's a local digital Slack. You can also reach us that way. But it's been a pleasure.
Yes, thank you very much for listening. We hope you found it interesting.
We've got 1 minute left as well. It's pretty good. Should we stop sharing our screen and put our pictures back up?
Yeah.
And see if there's any questions. How do you do that? No need to stop sharing. Stop sharing. Aha. Questions.
2 questions in Q&A.
From Anonymous. Is there any engagement from local authorities in Scotland? We've had a few conversations, but frankly, our contacts aren't great in Scotland. Likewise, getting better in Wales. We have a couple of contacts in Northern Ireland, and we'd really like to improve this. So please, if you're any of those countries, please do get in touch, because we'd really like to work with you. And the other question: do they work with agencies around the world, as in UK councils? Anatech is in Ireland. I think that's the furthest afield, but I don't think there's any barrier really to other agencies getting involved. And we'd like to see LocalGov Drupal travel to other countries. A lot of work has been done on sort of multilingual, although it's not complete. So definitely do get in touch if you want to talk about that. Do you have any thoughts about either of those, Alex?
No, I can see in the chat Fabian is asking us to share the slides, and he will tweet about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning from Chapter 3 in San Francisco. Thank you for sharing. Thank you
Good
for
morning.
listening.
Isn't this fabulous?
Yes, it's fantastic. I love
Yeah,
it.
it's brilliant. We're bang on time. So unless there are any more questions, maybe we will call it a day. Any more questions?
Oh,
No?
very good.
Okay, well,
Oh,
I think Aaron, I think we maybe answered your question already. We're very keen to hear about the challenges in Scottish councils. We because we're related, we've had some work with Anatech, who's an Irish agency. We're starting to understand the challenges in Irish councils, and they seem to be very similar. But that doesn't obviously follow across the board. MyScot single sign-on, yes, it is. We'd love to hear more about that. And I think there's going to be single sign-on. GovUK is working on that as well, which we're also very interested in. Hello from Anatech. Yes. This has been fabulous. Thank you for having us.
yes. Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.